Interesting. Oh my god. And here we are in Galeysville. Approaching this structure that we almost got crashed into from filming it. I mean, I swear to God, I don't know how I missed out getting crashed into. Alright, this is the famous Sandusky, and also known as Pratt City dump. It's way down in the woods. So let's check it out. Okay, here's the spot. The undug dump. Supposedly, well, there's some bottles sticking out. That's definitely not very old. What about this one? Dang it, that's not old either. But apparently this is not the right area. There is literally 100 acres to search out here. So it's an area that's very similar to looking to this, but apparently I'm not at the right spot. So let's go on down there and see if I can find it. Well, I've been walking for over a mile trying to find this place. And as you can see, the terrain is incredibly hard to walk through. There's nothing around but tons and tons of fallen trees. I mean, how am I supposed to get through this area? It's nearly impossible. That's kind of unusual. A pail stuck in a tree. It wasn't put there recently either. It's kind of fused into place. Alright, today we are in Bessemer for the umpteenth time. I don't know how many times I've been to this town, but it's a very hard town to find a privy in. I found what seems like it might be a privy or a trash pit. I found this piece of glass, and the seam on it definitely looks like it's an early 1900s piece. So let's keep going and see what's in here. Well, that's about all else I found. I'm pretty well finished with it. It's just a trash pit and a very sparse one at that. So I guess we're going to go on to another lot and see if we can do better. Okay, I finally found another privy. As you can imagine, all the vacant lots in this town have been dug already. Many years ago, and probably recently as well. There's a lot of vacant lots that have AB deed holes already been dug. But I just found one here. It's probably a 1905 to 1910, which is a good age because that's what the hutches would be. So, the Coke hutch is the best bottle in the world from this town. Well, it's the best Coke bottle in the world, and there's thousands of Coke bottles, so let's open it up and hope for the best. Okay, we got the first bottle coming out. I don't believe it. It's a late 40s bottle. How can that be? Even the 1899 maps of this town, I can't find any privies for them. Which means they already got rid of privies before 1899. But that doesn't make any sense. But what really doesn't make sense is to find a 1940s privy here. I really can't understand that. I would think they would have plumbing by 1912. Now we are in West Blockton, the thriving town. It's Saturday at 1:30 and can you believe it? There's nothing happening in the downtown district. But that's the way it is here. They don't tell you what street you're on. This is the main street through town. And every street post just doesn't say anything. And this thing here, I think that's Smith Hill Road, which is a major thoroughfare, but it doesn't say. Okay, I found this Mountain Dew bottle. It's pretty exciting because I've been finding so little. And I'm thinking these are worth about $20 a piece now because the Mountain Dew hillbilly character is so popular. And these are getting harder and harder to find. That looks like an interesting house. But it drops off into a creek immediately after that. So I don't know where the privy would even be. Look at the stilts. I mean, that thing is raised up real high. But there's also a vacant lot over here. Okay, I finally found a privy. No, I haven't been looking that long. It's a very small one though. It's only about 1 foot by 2 feet. Well, I'm down 3 feet and I haven't found a single bottle yet. But it's definitely a privy. You can tell by the powdery soil. And the fact that there was a whole bunch of bricks and stuff down there. Okay, I'm 4 feet deep now and I still haven't found any bottles. I'm about to give up. I gotta tell you, Alabama is kicking my butt this time. I've been out here for 4 days and haven't found anything. Well, nothing to speak of. Things like this. This is the only thing I really found in this hole. Yeah, all I see. Oh my God. I just stepped in a bucket of muddy water. And got my boot totally wrecked. That really upsets me. I have no way to clean my boots. I'm out on a month-long dig trip. Okay. Try to calm down. We've got a 16-ounce old-fashioned Pepsi from the late 60s. And we got a 7-Up. No name on it. I'm afraid that's all there's going to be. A couple of modern sodas. Kind of an unusual situation here. But where would the privy be? With these cinder block foundation things, I don't think it's that old. I mean, the house definitely looks old, but the cinder block, probably only 55 years old. I don't know. But it just doesn't look that old. Looking down the bank, I see a no deposit Pepsi. It almost seems good because I find so little no deposits in North Carolina. And here's a Coca-Cola. It's weird how North Carolina doesn't have these. They just have the 28-ounce paper labeled, hundreds of those, but very, very few single serving size embossed ones. It says the practice Titleist, but it is the Pro V1, the most famous golf ball in the world. But I'm not going to keep it this time. Ketchup. And lots of bottles turning up here. This 16-ounce Pepsi. Well, I just don't think it's quite worth it. Yeah, we got the stream down here. I've already checked it. I'm sure it's been checked by plenty of people. Now, if we can just find a couple Mountain Dew, then we'd be doing okay. It's a privy. It's not a practice one, and it's in really good shape. So it's worth over $1. Whoopee. Why would somebody sacrifice one of the best golf balls ever made just to hit it over here? Well, here's a giant trash pile of 1967 to 1977. Nothing on that one. I'm not going to mess with that. Now there could be some bottles on the surface over here, if they aren't bottle collectors that are doing the logging, but they almost always are. Construction workers are always taking the good bottles. There's a lot of area to cover here, and I don't think I got all day, and it's probably not likely to produce anything, but I'll give it a while. Supposedly there was some houses around here, and here's a piece of glass that definitely looks really old, like 1901 old. There's a few little fragments here and there. Maybe we can get lucky. Here's another fragment. Well, there's some kind of an insulator, but I'm not going to keep it. I don't think that's really the kind that I want, and those are heavy. But now we're getting to a creek that was very hard to get to otherwise. Wait a second. There's a jug piece. It's got ants on it, but it's definitely an old jug. So now that we're getting down towards the creek, maybe we'll find something. This is actually a pretty big creek. Well, I guess we'll walk it a ways. And such a massive piece of land. Who would have thought I would find something so well hidden? It's a ball mason, or what's left of it. And of course, a piece of copper wire, hopefully. So, I might be able to get $1 for that. I'm not doing too well finding a bunch of dollar things today. Well, now that looks like an old piece of glass. It definitely looks like a whiskey flask from the early 1900s. And the other side of the road has some deforestation situation going on as well. And a walk up here brings us to a gigantic pit. I'm thinking this is the pit where I was digging a bunch of styrofoam labeled soda bottles. But it's all covered up with all kinds of limbs and stuff. I don't know if it's even going to produce anymore, but I'll give it a try. With all these limbs in the way, it's just too difficult. And besides, from what I can remember, I dug about 95% of everything out of here anyway. It's way too hard to get to now. So let's go on to some other place.